I really kind of looked back on my life as an actress, and I was so wired to achieve that I was like, I have to achieve. And that achiever in me, I did actually get to achieve a lot of my childhood dreams, was to get to act in feature films and make feature films and tell stories that inspire people. But I had this huge like awakening moment when I was like, man, I'm living my dreams, but I am not happy. Wow. And like I would go through I would feel happy on set, but then I would come home and I was lonely and unsupported. And I had this big awakening that like, wow, like I don't really have good friends, and I'm in all these different toxic relationships. And this kind of realization of like, wow, and you know, this was several years ago. But I was like, wow, I've been studying all these books about mindset and personal development, but I hadn't really been studying about relationships. You know, I hadn't really been studying, and whatever we're studying, whatever we're learning about is what is, you know, what is growing in our life. And so it was just this like really big aha moment of like, man, the quality of our life is dependent on the quality of our relationships. And yet I wasn't putting a focus on my relationships of any kind. And also when we finally found each other and did a bunch of work on ourselves to attract each other and maintain and sustain our relationship, we were also like, you know, one of the biggest fears that he had when we started dating was like, oh, you're an actress. Like most Hollywood relationships don't work. And I was like, no, that's not true. That's just all that you see in media. Just like you said, right? If we're only shown the opposite of what we want, we start to believe that that's all that's out there. And that's not true. It's just only what's being highlighted in media. And then the collective consciousness starts to believe this story that that's what happens, but that's not what happens. And I had met so many beautiful, incredible relationships on my journey as an actress and in film that I was like, no, we need to create a platform that highlights and starts to shift the story, that we can co-create a world where healthy relationships are the new norm. And so I feel like this is the greatest gift of my entire life, and wanting so badly just to showcase that hope and to give people hope that, yeah, that is possible. And yeah, we're not perfect, but there is so much love and fun and joy and flow and ease and connectedness that, like, you know, I really feel like I dreamed up.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. And I think you literally did. I think two things really fast with that. You did dream it up by manifesting, right? By thinking about it, feeling it, praying for it, believing in it. And the other thing about that on the other side is when you were crying yourself to sleep or would see photos on social media of other people in love and you thought, maybe this can happen for other people, but it can't happen for me. It sounds like you like stopped your brain from thinking those thoughts, or either like closed those photos down. I know for me, at least, when I was really anxious in my last relationship, when I would see engagement photos, I would like go in a tailspin. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to find it. I'm behind. What's wrong with me? Maybe I'll never have what these people have. It would trigger me. And so I just kind of I would just mute people who recently got engaged on social media. I wouldn't tell them. It wasn't anything against them. It just wasn't good for my mental health to see so many people getting engaged and see so many people look so happy when, one, I didn't believe I could have it at that point, and two, it triggered me. So I took care of that trigger and then continued to believe in what I could have. And that's what we're doing in Be Found, to help people believe in that. Thank you for that.
And absolutely, yes. And it's a constant lesson that I'm learning, that is one of my biggest lessons while I'm here on earth, is to learn how to, anytime I feel comparison of any kind, that comparison is just the reminder that that's my desire, that we have those desires for a reason. And those things that we see that make us sometimes go like, oh, I wish I had that. It's learning how to transmute comparison into inspiration. Yes. And not just woo-woo way, but in a real legitimate, like
100%.
Anytime I see something I want, it's like rather than feeling down about it, feeling like, oh, that means it's that much closer. Like this is like a sign that you're on the right path, that you're going towards something that you want, and really trusting those desires that you have are there for a reason, because that's part of your mission here. So if you have it, trust it and lean into it rather than like run away from it.
And like using it to your power, because when you see someone that has something that you want, the fastest way to get that is to learn how they got it, right? Model their behavior. And that's what we're doing today on this call. How did you guys find it? What did you do to create it? Because I know you guys have both just mentioned you had some unhealthy relationship dynamics in the past, and you guys are in the most conscious, healthy, loving, safe, passionate relationship I've ever witnessed. So you did something, right? That wasn't just like random, where you woke up one day and you're like, okay, now I'm going to have a great relationship.